Hello, welcome to MTG Pro Tutor. I'm Sean Pennard, your host, and we're going to open this M15 booster pack and evaluate the cards inside. Let's dive right in and see what we get. So I always take out the marketing card and the land card in the back, and then I always dive right into the rare. We have Hornet Nest. Excellent. This card is really good. I'm going to first pick this card and I'll tell you why. You can do so much with this card. It's a 0/2 defender for 3 mana. When it's dealt damage, put that many put that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch onto the battlefield. That is great. So what that means is that you can do lots of different tricks. You can block their big guy with this. Maybe you block a 5/4, then you get 5 Hornets. Okay. Also, mid combat you could play an instant like Lightning Strike, and you could deal 3 damage to the Hornet Nest, and then at instant speed get 3 1/1 death touch insects, and then block. You see that? So I really like Hornet's Nest. It really kind of sets you up for some interesting interactions. It's really going to make your opponent think. The only way that they can get around it is if they exile it. So Hornet's Nest, my first pick so far. Frostlinks is good. It's a 2/2 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, you tap target creature, and then that an opponent controls, and that creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. I do like it. It's great for that blue control deck. It's good for when you want to go long game. Let's say you have a Stormtide Leviathan or something. You want the game to go long. This is a good addition. Hammerhand fits right into the red aggressive strategy. You play cheap creatures early on. Then here comes Hammerhand. It gives a creature +1/+1 in haste, and then another creature can't block this turn. So again, it lets your red creatures come run on by your opponent's defenses and deal some damage. Oppressive Raise, also good for slowing the game down. Creature can't attack or block, and can't use activated abilities unless its controller pays 3. All right, Covenant and Blood is all right. It's a big swing, a big swing. It costs 7 mana, but it does have Convoke. So the more creatures you have, the cheaper it is, and it deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 4 life. So if you do this to your opponent, it's an 8 life swing. So that's pretty big. Also, there's a lot of creatures that only have 4 or less toughness. I mean, even Avacyn has 4 toughness and can be killed by Covenant of Blood. Titanic Growth gives a creature +4/+4 for 2 mana. This is a classic green combat trick. Chrono Stutter is too slow for my taste. You put target creature in its owner's library on top of its owner's library second from the top for 6 mana. Too slow. So Rummaging Goblin, tap it, you discard a card, and then draw a card. Alright? For 3 mana. There might be some tricks, some ways to abuse this guy, but I stay away because a 1/1 for 3 is terrible, and the ability I don't think is that good because you have to discard first and then draw. If you don't have anything to discard, you don't get the ability. Because see how discard a card is before the colon? That means it's part of the activation cost. Bronze Sable is a 2/1 for 2. This is good because it blocks all the Intimidate creatures. You have Accursed Spirit and Krenko's Enforcer, both of which have 2 toughness. Orisko's Swift Claw is nice in those white, fast, aggressive decks. It's a 3/1 for 2 mana. Negate if you're blue, you might main deck 1 Negate. Definitely, it's good to have in your sideboard. Countering a non-creature spell is always useful. I would still love to see Blood Host in action. My ideal situation is black-white with Blood Host and a bunch of little tokens that I can then block and sack to this guy, getting +1/+1 counters and gaining 2 life. That just seems cool. Awesome. Alright, Caustic Tar gives you what's called Inevitability. If you cast Caustic Tar on one of your lands, all of a sudden that timer is ticking for your opponent. Okay, target player loses 3 life every time you tap that land. Okay, so that's really going to put the chokehold on your opponent. There are only 4 ways to destroy enchantments. 1 is white, 3 are green. All right, and let's see, 1 is uncommon. I know Naturalize is common, and I'm not sure what the rarity of the other 2 are. But yeah, so there's no way to destroy lands in M15. So this will really be hard to interact with, and because it's not on a creature, it's not going to get destroyed that often. So keep that in mind. Profane Memento is good in multiplayer games, which you will not be doing a lot of if you are drafting. So I don't really like it as far as limited M15 goes. Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. So that's nice, even if they discard it or anything like that. But still, just the thing is you have to use a card to get it. So, all right. So the top 2 cards for sure are Caustic Tar and Hornet's Nest. I will take. Let's see. Covenant Blood's good. And probably Blood Host next. So black is really strong in this pack. You have Caustic Tar, Blood Host, and Covenant of Blood. So all good black cards, I think. Hornet's Nest would be my first pick because having an ability like this is really strong. You're able to get those Death Touch creatures out, clear their board of stuff. So I like it. I'm sad to pass the Caustic Tar. This would definitely be my first pick, my second pick for sure. So there you have it. There is this pack. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Daily Boost. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next pack.